again, but it's not the first pick this time. So available for rookie. Of course, Aurora has now lost, so 100% win rate within the LPL. It was 2 games, but hey, we'll take those now down to just that 2/3. Leyan going towards the Zyra again, really monstered Canavi on an individual gold level. And in terms of that farm, of course, across that first game. And the Rell, which Zhuo has got now multiple MVPs on, immediately snapped up. I think that's a power pick between both Zhuo and Missing. We'll see that more in this series, of course.
And there's an underlying current here. I mean, NIP are just so okay with giving Leyan the Zyra. In these last best of 5s, he's literally played it 8 times. And one other game on brand. And I think it's so crucial to how they want to play, because he can play back, he can have huge peel back abilities, but strength around objectives, and he relies on a lot of his other pieces, the strong pieces, to have that damage profile for him. But he is no slouch on that pick. The Corki trying to pair up with some of that length damage for JDG. Also going to go with the Alistar for Missing, give him some roam ability.
And I think the most important thing about that Alistar, because, you know, the Alistar and the Nautilus, they're both engaged, tanky-ish champions, is the fact that the Alistar can at least walk up aggressively like he was in that last game and at least pop that ult to buy some extra time. You couldn't even do that on the Nautilus the last time. You have yourself that Ezreal. Ezreal is a very strong laning champion. The Kaiser got blasted in that first game. It wasn't particularly easy, but you are still now going up against the Jhin Rell on the other side, which is potentially a combo which can really punish you very easily as that Alistar. It's quite hard to get on top of that Jhin. If you catch that with the W, there are definitely cases where you can force your ultimate for free too. So once again, I'm liking this bot lane from NIP. We have criticized Photic and Zhuo before. They walked away with a strong laning performance with the Jhin. Maybe they can do the same.
Lucian definitely needed to be banned there. I don't want to just give that kind of classic matchup now, Lucian into Corki. I like the idea from NIP, though. They say they know. They can smell it coming. Canavi is no longer going to sit back and facilitate. They know he wants something that can be a little bit more advantageous to his position. And the Nidalee was the ban, followed by the Skarner there to take away some of that top lane stability Flandre might be bringing.
So, JDG, they have a chance to ban away the Aurora now, if they think that rookie will pick it up in the next round of picks. I think that'll be a fine blind pick for rookie on 4. Nasus goes away instead. Ladies and gentlemen and everyone else, we just saw Nasus win a game in a major region and then be banned in the next game. That is the world that we're living in. Shanji was really monstrous in those late games, despite the fact that the early game didn't go as well for him. They banned the Nasus instead of the Aurora, this champion which can absolutely blast out games on their own. There's every chance that rookie could go and lock in towards that one, but maybe they're just happy with the solo AP from the jungle. All right, we're seeing the Aurora being passed up by NIP. That's not something I expected. We might actually see a drop-off in that 100% presence.
I will say, though, rookie, he looked good on the Aurora, not so much his LeBlanc, I will say. The AD mids, though, I mean, he might not like them, but he's damn good at them. And I feel like his Zeri, his Lucian, they have been so deadly. And I love to see that he's bringing that one out here in terms of the Zeri mid and trying to get some strength there with that sustained damage there and keep pressure in mid lane. The Aurora locked in. We have seen it top lane.
Yes.
And it could be that time around for JDG.
Yeah, it's very likely to be that Aurora top lane. I mean, we have seen Corki top lane too, so technically flexibility again. But I would expect Flandre takes this one here, and we'll see whether Flandre has an answer to that one. Canavi, he's working with very little setup. He has an Alistar and then the Aurora ultimate, but does go towards that Viego anyway.
Let's go.
This feels like quite a look. They're fun champions. They're disjointed.
This feels personal.
JDG. To an extent, yes, but like I'm sat here looking at this Viego and saying, well, how the hell are you going to reach the targets that you want to? UDyr comes in last for Shanji. He'll just be trying to tank up that Aurora.
King Kanavi wants his crown, baby. And maybe it's a little ruined, but he'll still take it. As it's going to be really important for Canavi to have a good game here, to get a little bit of that confidence under his belt, to play between these solo lanes, and especially for Missing, to be more impactful than that game number 1 and to get onto the map and combine with Canavi in a lot of cases here for this game too.
So, JDG, we criticized their early game in game 1. The Aurora is a lane bully, especially against melee champions. The Ezreal, one of the strongest laners as well on the patch, but it is against that Jhin Rell. JDG, I think they've given themselves some more tools to fight out that early game, but will they be enough? NIP won that last game by exploding the early game and never looking back. Great first game. They've shown themselves that they're on good form here today, and I hope they can keep that one up and give themselves a real contest between these two teams. And it's JDG chasing the series now.
Not something maybe you would have expected to say going into this one. This was the JDG who were angry going into summer, who were mad they weren't able to make it to internationals. They weren't even able to make it to finals. And now starting off on a 1-0 slide down in this best of 5 for them in a make or break moment for both these two teams. But NIP, they are revved up and running smooth right now. A team that we had really the worst expectations of coming in. They have completely blown past those, and it's the NIP that we would expect of this roster to be. It's game 2 for JDG to try to even up the series here. We'll see if they can do it. A little more coordination there for the NIP fans. I don't know, I mean, hey, you got that game number 1. I feel like maybe your voice gets a little louder after that one.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, JDG, they're not in their home arena. Well, I guess NIP aren't either, but maybe the traveling has done something to the coordination between the crowd chant leader and the crowd itself. Truly, the most dramatic things happen within the LPL. Wow.
It's all drama. It's like a reality TV show.
Yeah. I really want to zone in on something that you said coming out of Champions Slate, because I think there's an important conversation to be had there in terms of NIP in that first game. That felt more like what we should be seeing from this roster.
Yep.
Now, across most of spring, NIP really struggled to find that form. I think across most of summer, they've struggled to find a lot of that too. NIP in spring had a fantastic start, and then they were the first team that could have locked playoffs, and they didn't manage to do that for a very long time after that. I think they went something like 7-2, and then they went to 7-7. It was it was a bit of a fall-off, we'll call it that way. But NIP, they've had a bit of a similar situation here in summer again, where just the regular season or the qualifying for playoffs really didn't look that convincing. But we saw exactly what this team can do in that spring playoffs. They came through with the lane swaps in, thanks to Zhuo, by the way, for the lane swap meta, by the way. That was all on him, finding it, running into it in solo queue and thinking, hey, I want to do that on a bigger stage. Let's go ruin everyone's pro careers for a little bit. But yeah, NIP, they have looked really good in their last couple of best of 5s, but this is the first time they're up against real strong opposition. Can they keep it for a full best of 5? That's the problem, really, because they have shown that they can at least reach some of that potential again. And
that was like kind of the big hyper focus for us is, can Leyan even keep up with Canavi? Well, he's doing way more than keep up with Canavi, as so far so good on the Zyra picks for him across the playoffs. But I also got some extremely breaking information here, Nymaera. It's very important, could decide the entire series. Producer Ashin has told me every champion in NIP, they all have 4 letters and they have a Jhin. Coincidence?
Are you
I think
me?
not.
But then the problem is
numbers. What do they mean, Nymaera?
No, there are 5 champions with 4. There are 5. They needed to kick someone off stage. They can only play with 4 players. That's what it is. That's the problem. Man, so close. Thanks, Ashin.
Now we have to decide
really
who they kick to make it 4. But no, they are looking for a dive on bot side right now. Leyan has returned to this well multiple times over these playoffs, and it has worked so well for them to get early advantages down here. We're looking to be poked. Not going to get CC just yet, though. Able to dodge out a lot of that one, and Leyan not going to find success on his first gank. Canavi, on the other hand, might just find the prize he's looking for. Is going to be rebuffed, though, as Rookie does have exit tools available.
Oh, it's so hard to gank Zeri in mid lane. If you ever have E, you just hop over a wall, job's a good one, you're fine. I think particularly with the changes to the mid lane walls, of course the entire map got a bit of a makeover in terms of the way that the walls were situated across the map. Mid lane is much harder to gank now, and they have done a good job of allowing mid lane to be a bit more isolated. I think in the previous years, you would very commonly see 3v1 mid lane, but I think that has allowed these AD carries an extra degree of safety again. That's one of the reasons we see them so often, because when you have the dash AD carries, they can just play like that. You walk into the lane, you don't really have any threat.
Getting to second paths now from both junglers. Looks like it's going to still be that re-clear of the mirrored starts here. Big thing also to think about is a little bit of that objective prio and what we're going to see because Rookie had constant mid-prio last game, and it enabled NIP to play strongly around the objectives early.
Yeah, so those are early objectives. The thing about that last game was when it came to those early objectives, both junglers wanted to be in lanes or getting like huge amount of farm instead of going for the objectives. It was very either like selfish for the laners or selfish for the jungler itself. I mean, with both these junglers, again, you can just keep farming over and over. So the combo from missing, is it going to lead to more?
Nothing else going to come of it. They will end up getting a nice deadly flourish on the back end. A bit of vision gain by the minion there, too, as Photic looking for a fourth shot. Not going to find a connection there to get some more damage. But both junglers are back towards this bottom side. Kanavi says, no, we am not going to full clear on top side. I want to stay active down here.
Kanavi is Leyan going to come in. Flash!
That was an incredible time flash from Photic. Might just give over Zhuo's like beautiful shattering strike there. Now Photic stepping up as the first soul is forfeit over to Kanavi. They claim first blood and might find another one. Photic in low. Essence Flux is on him. And Ruler, he wants it. The barrier. It's going to be just enough. And Ruler dies for his overstep. Leyan takes the kill back for NIP.
Photic breaks Ruler's ankles with the barrier bait. Kanavi's still down here. Is there enough cooldowns to another W?
Oh my god! The Jhin is able to stop Kanavi from continuing that onslaught on the Leyan. He does end up stopping his back there. Will still complete it up, but what a play from this NIP bot lane!
Damn, we have spent most of this year going, Photic's not really on it today. Photic really needs to be on stuff like the Ezreal or the Senna. What's he going to do with other champions? Fantastic first two early games from him so far. This Jhin manages to get that turnaround. And now, as you were saying, the early objectives have been a bit of an afterthought in the first game because it was all about getting into the lanes. And again, we see here, it's not an immediate startup off that dragon. Kanavi knows he doesn't have belt prio. He goes towards the bot gank instead. And yeah, Missing's used his combo at this point. You do have that ability to go forward with that Spectral Ward. Zhuo outplays Missing again, though, gets that stun afterwards. It means that he's low HP. He can't really continue that trade after that point, and Kanavi then really misexecutes. This is what we like to call the barrier bait. Tries to just hands check him. He tries to hands check him. He has the W on him, but he pulls that barrier in time, survives at 4 HP, and Leyan manages to turn it around. So Photic, honestly, just winning the mind game.
I'm just going to say, you already saw him instantly react to the earlier play. He's on his toes right now, and this is what made that 2022 Spring V5 so potent. Photic and Rookie, the dual carries of NIP. If they are finding success, if they are set up for success, I mean, the world is your oyster at that point.
You know, I was asked the other day where the heck that phrase came from, and I still have zero idea, by the way. Why is the world an oyster? Is that?
I don't know, they're shiny.
There's got to be some... no, that's the pearl. Oysters aren't shiny.
Well, yeah, but they have shiny things with pearls. Some of them have pearls inside. I don't know.
Yeah, some of them do. Yeah, they do. Anyway, that's just me and my musings. I have
Maybe
no
it could
idea
just,
where
you know, it'll just fade off into
existence. If anyone knows
existence.
about that, please let me know. It's the most important thing I can think of right now. It's, you know, very important for best of five. We determine these careers.
That's the most important thing you can think of right now. Not, you know.
Yeah, nothing else. Nothing else.
Nothing else important's going on. It's definitely not a do or die best of 5 between these two teams with like so many veterans and all the great stuff. World champions, all that wonderful stuff.
Man. And, you know, starting back in on that a little bit away from the history. You know, we've been kind of... It's not a meme, but it is a kind of a factor. Whenever you watch NIP, you think, oh, is Rookie going to get back to Worlds and blah, blah, blah. You know, they did get some championship points from Spring. They're likely to get themselves into regionals, especially if they manage to outperform. I believe they outperform FPX, who, of course, did advance from the games yesterday.
Yeah, they already have 30 points from last split.
So yeah, NIP, they're not in a bad spot with that. But honestly, the more points you can get, and honestly, just in terms of knowing that you can beat upper teams when you'll need to in the regionals anyway, or even, of course, progress further here in playoffs, it's so important to have a strong series like this. So NIP, first game in the early game, fantastic. This one has been more contested, but it is still not a bad showing from NIP, particularly around that bot side.
See, contest over these grubs. Kanavi, we tried playing the first one. NIP feeling a little...
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I don't know. Sheen was onto something. The number 4, the 4 letters. Coincidence? Again, I think not. I'm just saying, results-based analysis is working out right now for NIP.
Oh, are you kidding me? Photic, I guess that outplay bot side steals away that grub. Really powerful plays from him in the early game, and now NFP going to get themselves potentially a skirmish.
Really big between worlds by Flandre. Zhuo getting his way out now. Look at Rookie. He's got so much damage from the lightning crash. Canavi going to claim a soul though onto Leyan. It's feeling a little bit personal in that one-on-one. Now Rookie trying to take down Yagao, ends up getting the flash out of him, but Canavi is going to town right now. Photic all by himself, and he's just Jhin as another one comes through, and it's a triple kill for King Canavi.
The power of 4 defeated by the power of 3 kills from Canavi. The resets come through. Viego is so powerful when you have scrappier, kind of more improvised teamfight setups, because the Viego just ends up pulling apart 1 kill, and that can win you a team fight. Canavi, you said it was personal. You said he was reaching towards that crown, ruined though it might be. I guess huge value here out of the early game. JDG, they couldn't find themselves early plays in that last game, but these early resets get massive value. Flandre, great ult coming out of the Aurora. Haven't really focused on that top lane matchup so far, but Aurora is still Aurora. Did get that loss for JDG in that last game, but the intro into this fight, coming around that fog of war and getting that big between worlds, opens up the resets to come through. It's one of the big reasons we've seen Viego Aurora being played as a pretty big combo coming through between the two of them.
And I know that feels so righteous for Canavi. That game one, it didn't feel like he had really any say in how that game was going to go after a long period of it. But now I said at the end of that one, give this man the sticks. He wants to try to win himself in a lot of cases. And the Viego starting out pretty strong, already has the Trinity Force completed. Rookie does have the Blade of the Rune King to match in some of that damage profile, but Canavi is going to be in a much happier place in game number 2.
That he is. So, JDG, they are ahead in gold. We did say they often need Canavi pop-offs to do well in the early game. Well, we got one of them.
Oh, he's
Good
popping
stuff.
off, all right.
He's popping off. Hey, we even get ourselves a graphic there as well. Those, I'm sure they're wonderful numbers. So we get ourselves the Dragon coming up in just under 20 seconds. Goes towards now Zhuo. That jungle ain't your own right now, buddy.
Yeah, after all this lead has gone down, you don't have any say in that bottom side. The Dragon stacking going to be denied against NIP, and Canavi, he truly is just looking for picks now in between. Missing, though. Going to get heavily comboed by some CC there. Still, Big Cal will make his way out, and Dragon started by JDG.
Yeah, this thing just needs to be a little bit careful. Of course, you don't want to lose too much HP before you have to press your ultimate. Canavi, though, going to take this Dragon uncontested at the moment. What over the wall is that Leyan is around the area. Whenever there's a Jhin in the game, I always wonder whether something's just going to happen from off screen. So funnily enough, it's really funny to me that we see Jhin and Zyra back in meta at the same time. The last time that Zyra was actually meta in a pro sense was actually Season 6 when Jhin Zyra was a very powerful bot lane. But for those of you that remember, of course, this was arguably the greatest best of 5 of all time. It's on the shortlist anyway. The Rocks SKT series back at Season 6 semi-finals. That series was largely determined by Jhin Zyra being so powerful, and then turns out Misfortune countered Zyra because you could double tap off the plants, and it would just like, the double up would get like huge value. The fact that now Jhin and Zyra are back together, doing the same thing they've done, you know, ages into the game's history now, despite being much earlier champion releases, it makes me happy.
The little things. Oh no, he's gonna cleanse. Does have to burn the flash as well. Curtain call opened up here. Ruler, you gotta find those fancy feet somewhere. One more shot. Oh! Call him the sniper.
Photic is having an absolute showcase in this game. Yeah, you know, he's
Ruler's
behind
upset.
in CS, but Ruler's sat there going like, damn, this guy's just outplayed me multiple times. Photic has been under so much criticism.
Look how upset he is.
Yeah, and you know what? Considering the amount of weight on this guy's shoulders that have been for so much of his career, being one of the best players in his role across his career of all time, Photic is showing him up right now in terms of a lot of these mind games. And yeah, you know, the CS advantage is there, and it is. There's a balance between the flashy moments and then the legwork outside of that. Photic is still having a great game.
He's had a hell of a couple series here already. Again, returning to that promised land of being a proficient AD. There's now NIP going to get the third one here. Maybe looking at the fourth as there is no response. They'll actually get the might spawn for themselves as we take a look back to Ruler barely getting caught.
Hey, folks, we were just talking about the Jhin Zyra as a combo. One lands the CC, the other one hits everything, and it is a real pain from half a screen away. And this time, maybe even a little bit more than that. Photic gets that fourth shot.
That's a 50-50 right there. You choose one way, and the other way might have been the better one. But Definitely going to be kicking himself for that one. Still in a good position, though. Still has a lot to say in this game and this series. JDG as a whole still have a little bit of a lead. Not maybe the big lead that they were hoping to carve out early, but you have to think all those resources centered around Canavi is extremely useful as the pillar of JDG over these last years.
And even though we've seen these cool plays out of Photic, I'm still favoring JDG in a lot of these upcoming team fights, especially right now, this terrain in top river. You don't want to be stuck here against the Aurora with the Viego being able to reset off it. Flandre just ended up doing a huge amount of damage, and yeah, Missing isn't here. I think this Herald will go over for free, but that's the kind of situation you need to be quite careful about the setup for from NIP. If you allow Flandre to get good damage, if you allow him to get that setup for the Viego, one kill could basically seal your team fight. Yeah. So NIP, that's something they'll have to be careful beyond this point.
And you saw in the picture there, Rookie is at a point now that even if, you know, Yagao is there to put by damage, but even if Flandre is there to get those between worlds, he is confident to step in and keep fighting. So a lot more strength being provided by Rookie now, getting close to that second item spike. They're also going to outright take the outer turret up here in top and crash into a tier 2. JDG are here to respond.
Do they know he's here?
Oh, they got a lot of damage on the Rookie, but the leap from the Rift Herald is pretty huge. Ruler going to get a decent chunk on the 3 members here, now looking to be just as aggressive as Photic was in that last game. Ooh, flash coming out from Rookie to get away from the rocket barrage. Yagao, he's hungry now, and so is JDG. They want to try to collapse over here on NIP. The root's not going to connect. He can't hit the rockets, though. Ultra Shock Laser going to go a little bit wide. Zhuo is hovering over here, and also Photic is on the way, has Curtain Call. Things are collapsing, but is NIP going to have an answer? Kanavi.
Right, Missing has ult. Missing has ult. They could have gone for the dive there. He had the ignite and had the ult, but they're a little bit slow to it. They'd rather just return to this tower. I wonder whether that's a missed opportunity. They can't make their way over to that play just about, though, and it's going to be more tower trading. NIP, they do have the 4 grubs. It makes these trades a little bit easier. You can see that Shanji actually getting ahead in the individual matchup now because of those cross maps. However, I think you'll probably take the extra gold onto the Corki, the Viego, and the other carries rather than the tank of that front line of Shanji. It's still not bad cross maps from NIP, but JDG, once again, at least getting themselves into this early game much better than that first game.
You just have so much damage on the side of JDG when you get into these fights, right? And especially on the first, second item spikes, I think you're going to have a lot of promise when you come full force there. But then I guess the question becomes, does some of that utility for NIP become the thing that makes the difference in front of these fights, as they are already positioning around the dragon that'll be spawning soon?
Okay, so dragon spawning soon. I think we're going to start seeing a lot of these 5v5s come to bear sooner rather than later. I don't know whether JDG really want to be contesting this. They might choose to just stall out again. But when it comes to those 5v5s, again, really look for how Flandre makes his way into those fights with those big between worlds, setting up for Viego. If NIP do not play well around the Rell engage, catching someone important, and of course Shanji's front line as well, one kill could just determine this team fight. The Viego is so powerful at doing that, so NIP do need to be very, very careful of where Flandre is angled.
See some angles from JDG. They have gotten all that damage I was talking about centered around this Dragon Pit. They want to deny any stacking here and claim this for themselves. Triple Trinity Force for them. They have the damage. Shanji's going to be a massive frontliner rookie looking for a flank here. JDG a bit split now. Missing going to go over here as well. Ruler does have a decent amount of damage. Missing getting a little bit low. They got the True Shot Barrage onto Photic. That means JDG pull off of the Dragon. There's the twofold Hex, actually getting a decent amount of damage between worlds. There's the combo. Zhuo going back in. Stranglethorn on top of 2 there. Curtain called by Photic, but Ruler's going to chase him down now. Maybe himself feeling a little personal as JDG have completely cut off the head of NIP, and they're running around like chickens. As Canavi is trying to go under turret here with the soul, but can't do it. And now the Dragon will be going over to JDG.
The Dragon goes over to JDG, the Gold League goes further over to JDG, and they get themselves hugely on the board once again with a big combo. NIP, they were split in all the wrong ways, and now suddenly you're going to be playing from behind the game against that Dragon advantage to JDG as well, so there's the threat of that soul point coming in later. And these combos are only going to get more deadly. Look at how Photic is positioned against this wall. He's not really in the best place to stand and fire. There's no easy way for him to retreat. He tries to go towards this mid lane, but he gets taken out of the fight very, very easily. You can just see this, how split this fight is and how easy it is for Flandre to get right into this play again and just make a real mess of things. Keep people pinned in that one position and allow Viego to just keep resetting.
And you just see the mobility that this champion has. Literally made it across your screen in like 2 seconds. incredible stuff, but just good micromanaging of the fight by JDG. This is feeling much more like the JDG that we were expected of in that game number 1 that we didn't get.
By the way, if we don't get an Alice in Wonderland, like Aurora skin for the White Rabbit, something's gone wrong, folks. This champion is just like all about the weird and wonderful rabbit magic stuff. As now NIP, they have to play very far behind in this game now. So, what other options? They can potentially look to stall out until you get multiple items on the Zeri, multiple items on Leyan, but I don't think they're going to be able to do that. They've left these wards behind them. Hex gets some teleports. Rookie caught out.
Oh my god, he's just dying outright. Just gets killed by Kanavi at the end. Did he just kill him with the distance there? And now JDG are completely collapsing over NIP, who were trying to save Rookie, and now we're just trying to find a way out here. The escape hatch has been closed though. Shanji is just going to run his way through it, but unfortunately, he's not going to have the same amount of luck, and guess who it is? It's your Nymaera in game 2, Canavi.
Canavi is just slaughtering through these team fights. He's had a lot more help from his team this time. They've been setting up for those resets, but now with so many kills, Baron is up and available. And Canavi, I think he might just keep going. There are Hex Techs, there's another teleport coming through. They might just want themselves another fight.
This JDG, this is the anger that you can just feel palpably on the Rip. They are just fighting every tooth and nail. They are going for everything on the Rip. They have the advantage, and they're pushing it into NIP. The Baron already have health here, but this might be a little bit of an overextend, as here comes the curtain call to take down some of the health bars. The nice catch by Zhuo, but the Between Worlds, oh my god! The Baron ends up going to JDG, and they completely collapse on NIP, unsuspecting of the power of those Corki jaws. A triple kill to Yagao.
JDG get themselves on the board in the early game, and JDG start rolling through this game like game 1 never even happened. NIP, they can't stand up to the team fighting prowess of JDG in this game number 2, and I don't think this game is going to get any easier for them. They've let these champions come online. The Baron goes over very, very easily to JDG, and these gold leads are only going to get worse. They don't even have the Muramana transformed on Yagao yet. That's going to get even worse for them. This isn't even the worst entry to a fight that NIP could have had, because Flandre is caught out very, very quickly here. You can see that the Jhin ult very nearly steals that Baron. That's about the closest they were going to get to with that one, but they don't have Leyan here. They are fighting that 4v5, and the roll through that team fight is absolutely disgusting.
And Yagao having a much more, stable performance, I feel like this time around, able to keep Rookie on his toes a bit more than I guess in that game number 1. But it truly has been a story of Kanavi just taking the reins by his own fists and throwing them into NIP is now the lead that he has borne for JDG has led to absolute devastation for NIP in game 2. It's 22 minutes in, and they're looking at a tier 2 tower on bot for JDG.
So JDG, they take this advantage much in the way that NIP did in that last game. They get ahead of the game, and they don't look back. This Aurora's looked a lot better in this game compared to that last one. Maybe it was something about that matchup in the mid lane which held it down for them, but I think honestly it's just much more about JDG having a better early game, giving themselves a chance to showcase that they are such good team fighters and they have so much damage to bear.
Can't run away from the bunny lady. She'll just chase you down. And that is a red-eyed, bloodthirsty beast right there as JDG. They're looking at the end of him, and they still have the Baron for another minute. They could look just for the end here and even up the series.
Oh my word, I think that's going to be it. This chunking through those turrets.
They've taken the snowball, and they are crashing it now into the Nexus turrets, and that's already one down. We said it's Reset City for Kanavi, and he wants to put the hurt on all of NIP. He is under their turrets. He's in their Nexus fountain, and right now he's living rent-free in their head. We asked if Kanavi can make this kingdom his, and for game 2, he will.
JDG, they don't even care about that first game, do they? They walk away from it and say, oh, well, whatever, didn't work out, lanes didn't work out, they snowballed, whatever, we'll come back and get them in that second game. I think that's one of the bonuses you get from having so much veteran talent on this JDG roster. It's very hard to get under their skin like that. Very, very confident team fighting. I think even in that first game, we saw that JDG from behind the game had a lot of threat in those team fights, and NIP... Now the question for me, for that team, if they want to go further in playoffs, if they want to keep this this dream alive of them getting further into that, is going to be all hinged around those early lanes and that early game.
Yeah, I'm also looking at mid lane, needing to be a little bit more consistent there in the series if Rookie's going to have that stable hold. We are going to send it to a little break, and we'll be back with game number 3.